Genealogy Tracker tools, sources, and strategy. Have you encountered a block on your matrilineal lineage? If so, these genealogy tools, sources, and strategies may help. Several of my followers reached out to me after dropping this video right here about tracking down Cherokee ancestry. After dropping that video, several of my followers reached out to me, and I noticed they all had the same issue, the matrilineal lineage. Here's how I was able to help them solve that issue. Let's get into it. Step 1. Reach out to your elders. I first started this journey years ago, before my granddad passed, and he was able to give me 5 generations. Step 2. If your family attended a local church or family church, ask the pastor for your baptismal records or your family's baptismal records if they have any. Step 3. See if your family has a family Bible. Family Bibles were used to keep birth records. After you discover the basic 4 or 5 generations of your lineage, then you'll be ready for step 6, developing a research plan. With your research plan, you should first take notes by writing them down or typing them out and printing them off and keeping them in a safe place. In these research notes, you'll be able to cross-reference information, names, places, time periods. Also write down missing information. Cross-reference the information that you do find with the birth records, death, census, marriage, city directory, telephone books, school records, military records, tax records, pensions, wills, and probate. And also gather as many family pictures as you can. It's also easier if you type these things out or write them out in order and keep that order with every ancestor that you come across. You can also visit your local cemetery, or if you have a family cemetery, and get those records as well. Later in the video, I'll show you how to track that down. If you have an issue with the family cemetery or finding those records, then go back to your family's obituaries and see who handled the service and see if you can go get those records from there. Step 7, sources. Initially, I was only using a few apps to cross-reference my information until this person right here brought more to my attention. Thank you. After utilizing these sources or sites, I began to notice that there was way more, and a lot of them very helpful. So let's get into it. Number 1, findagrave.com. This is a good source to find your ancestors' burial grounds. Where I'm from, all of the family is buried together and separated from foreigners. This makes it a lot easier to be able to distinguish one person from another. It also makes it easier to find family that you may not know that were located outside the state that you grew up in. Number 2, familysearch.org. Number 3, worldgenweb.org. Number 4, usgenweb.com. Number 5, nationalarchives.gov. Number 6, findmypast.com. Number 7, legacytree.com. Number 8, fold3.com. Number 9, loc.gov. Number 10, nypl.org. Number 11, usgenweb.com. This site has other information and key things to look for. Number 12, researchguides.net. This is a great tool for immigrant ancestry if you have any. Number 13, genealogy.acpl.lib.in.us. Number 14, billiongraves.com. Number 15, legacy.com. This site has a lot of information on obituaries that you may have not seen. Number 16, home.rootsweb.com. Number 17, www.archivist.org. This has a lot of information down to the state and local level about your ancestors or other things you may be interested in. Number 18, chroniclingamerica.loc.gov. This is a tool from the Library of Congress that may have newspaper articles about your ancestors. Number 19, ancestryrecords.org/military-records. This is a great site to track down military records of your family members. Number 20, OURpublicrecords.org. Number 21, aagenealogy.directory. This is a great resource to utilize, especially for Pan-Africans that think their ancestors were slaves or think that they came from Africa. Great website to utilize for that purpose. Number 22, NativeAmericanRoots.wordpress.com. This is a great source to utilize, especially for people with ancestry from northeastern North Carolina. This site gives you a list of surnames of free people of color from Granville County in North Carolina, dating all the way back to the 1600s. And yes, American Indians or Native Americans were listed as free people of color, despite the controversy. Number 22, AFROAM civilwar.org. This site helps you track down the list of colored troops that served in the Civil War. Number 23, the Internet Archives. This is an amazing source for finding birth and death index records down to the state and county level. You can also find chancery records, Indian census records, history collections, war records and muster rolls, yearbook records, list of registered voters, records of field offices of your state that include refugees, freedmen, and abandoned lands, passenger list of vessels for coastal states, descendants of pioneers, your state historical magazines, the index rolls of honor, which is an ancestry index, in the lineage books of the National Society of the Daughters of American Revolution, volumes 1 through 160. You may also find genealogy family books, cemetery inscriptions, varieties of synonyms of surnames, compiled records of military units of volunteer Confederate organizations, dictionaries of American family names, circuit court record indexes, pedigrees of families by county, and maps. Things to keep in mind when utilizing your tracker strategies. Dates. Make sure you don't copy trees, but use them as clues. Don't go fast, take your time. Make sure you cite your sources and attach the printed record in your book or binders. Use reference notes. Use a forensic pattern. Gather enough information to be able to write a small book about that family member. If you find an ancestor of a tribe, go back into the archives to learn what those family names mean, along with the language and culture, and try to gather as much information as possible. When viewing census records, pay close attention not only to your direct ancestors, but also a few pages down from your direct ancestor, because chances are your family lived nearby. This is a great indication to verify your ancestors. Like, share, comment, repost, and click on my profile to find my YouTube link, where I will be sharing other information related to this topic. I will also be speaking on law remedies, not arguments, remedies, and real solutions for our people, as I have studied the subject of law for over 9 years. And I will also be giving you my sources and my mentors on this subject matter. Thank you. I hope this was able to help.